what I love about creativity. And what I love about creativity is it's inclusive, yet it's not proprietary to any one person, right? Like creativity is yours to own and mine to own, because at the end of the day, it's who you are and what you do. And we can apply that to art, and we can apply that to our craft and to our job and all that other things. But I think for me, what hit home when I was thinking about creativity recently was people understanding that you don't have to have a specific talent that falls under the umbrella of what others deem creative, because again, the creator created us to create, right? And so because of that, and because we are, again, the living, breathing, like embodiment of creativity, it's in us some form or fashion. Think about like us currently being in this pandemic and all the things that have had to happen. Guess what? People had to get creative. We're on a whole Zoom having a whole like weeks long worth of events, like some sort of conference or convention with speakers and all of these things. And we're doing it online because we had to get creative, right? And so I think one of the things that I always talk about, even in production, like I tell my team this all the time, you have to learn how to pivot, right? And pivot for me is like right on the lines of creativity, because sometimes you just have to get creative. Sometimes you just have to step outside of your box. Sometimes you just have to think of things from a different perspective. I remember I was teaching third grade, and this is for educators, since this is a platform for everybody. Educate, what's up? I remember I couldn't stand teaching them little booger picking dusty butt kids. Okay. And yes, I said it. All right. If y'all got third graders, I'm sorry, y'all kids is booger picking and dusty butted. And basically I was like, they were so bored. So what I had to figure out was, how can I create some differentiation in instruction? And until I started about that, but I heard Robin say it a ton of times. And it sat with me, why are we setting out to teach kids just the way the book tells us to? I'm not boring. I don't want the kids to think that all they are coming to do is open books and go through some sort of regimented routine that, in my opinion, doesn't serve them. Doesn't mean they don't need routine. Doesn't mean they don't need structure or boundaries, whatever. But they do need creativity. And as an educator, it's our job, right? Because everybody really is educating someone somewhere. I am not in a classroom, but I'm constantly teaching, right? My sister who got on here before, she's not in a classroom, but she's constantly teaching. She's teaching white folks how to get their entire life and understand that we live here too. We could talk about that all day. She's teaching people, listen, go get your money right. That comes from experience, but it also comes from the fact that she's been places, she knows some stuff. And so anytime that you are blessed to be gifted with knowledge or experiences or exposure, it is your duty to pay that forward. It is your duty to give that back. It was my duty as a third grade teacher to, teaching them little booger picking, dusty butted kids. It was my duty to find a way to make sure that when they left the classroom, they left with more than just simply what the book says. But I've learned some stuff. I've been some places. And so I have to impart that on them. That's creativity. We're surrounded by it. If you are not creative and have not found yourself doing anything creative in your entire life, something is wrong with that. We walk on streets that are, man-made. We walk past trees and beautiful skies and birds and water and sand and all these things that God created for us so that we can see beauty in the world, so that we can see the vibrancy of just life in general. And it's our job to like grab hold of those things. And then how do I bring that into what I'm doing? And then not only how do I bring it into what I'm doing, how do I then throw it back out there for someone else to catch? That's why mentorship is really important to me, because at the end of the day, I get to do it my way. I literally tell everybody that meets me, I am not like anybody else you'll ever work with. I'm not your typical mentor. I'm not your typical teacher, director, whatever you want to call me. I am not that person. What you're going to get is queen all day, every day. And if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. But that's my creativity at work. So I think it's just important for us to think about that. And evolution requires creativity. Think about our big fat back TVs and our fat back computers, and and look at us now. We have little laptops that run and phones that are like little baby laptops. And evolution, right, is cries out for creativity, and it's upon us to be a part of that evolution. And so we have to get creative. We also have to learn how to pivot. We have to learn how, like when I played basketball in high school, and some people on here probably know if you play basketball, but the pivot is like a real thing. It's you getting away from the defense so they can't get you. You over here, but you pivot so you can go over here, and you're catching people off guard. And then it opens up a lane for you. When you pivot, it opens up a lane for you to be able to go and move in another direction, probably dribble where you were holding that ball before, but because you pivoted and didn't have to dribble, you bought yourself some time, right? So now you're over here, and now you can shoot if you want to, or you can dribble if you want to, if you can move back from your opponent, but you freed up some space, right? To be able to give yourself the room to go, do, and be, right? And that's a basketball, but that's life. Because if we learn how to pivot, something didn't work right here, right? So what? Like when I got on here today, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have lights, I'm gonna have all this stuff. Now I'm a whole producer. I got a ton of equipment and all this stuff. And I just couldn't get it right today. And so now I'm in the corner and y'all see a curtain. I had big plans for y'all. But guess what? Did I say, can y'all delay me? No, I had to pivot. I had to get creative. And I say, girl, if you don't get yourself in this corner by this curtain, because they ain't had the little dots for me to put a background screen, because I don't know why my Zoom different than the rest of y'all. But guess what? I had to get creative. And that's what it is. My hair wasn't done today, but guess what? That bun always gives. Ain't nothing but a little wrap you throw on, a little lip. Get creative. So when I think of Kumbaya, I just love saying that word. I think about so many things. I celebrate the people who have come before me, who've been able to create beautiful art. That's my dog in the background. I'm so sorry. He's so disrespectful. Who have been able to create beautiful art and do beautiful things for us to enjoy. You have to sit. You can't sit and just watch somebody else win and enjoy and be creative and make stuff for you to enjoy. What are you doing to create? What are you doing to contribute to the world and the flow and the movement? And if we're putting our foot on the gas, are you in the car, or are you outside watching the car go? You know what I'm saying? So we have to think about ourselves stepping into the role of creativity as it pertains to what our why is, but also what our give is. Because if we go back to yesterday and standing on purpose, like if you do know that you're standing on purpose, then you also understand that purpose and creativity live together. It's the marriage. It's a dance that they do. You know what I mean? Everything that all 7 principles really of Kwanzaa are really dancing together. And we're supposed to take all of those things and make it work. And creativity is at the end for a reason. Because once you figured all that other stuff out, then you got to get real creative to get it done. Because guess what? The win is in the work. So get creative. Do what you got to do. So yeah, I mean, I have more, but we can. My dog then came up here with a sock in his mouth, which means he about to turn up. So.
Wow, you said so many powerful things. I want to just kind of, I want to like open some things up to the audience, right? Like I want you guys to put some things in the chat that you would ask Queen. Like there's some things that you said that it just flows. It seems to flow off of you. I'm not saying everything's easy, but when you talked about pivoting, right? Like if you guys have questions like, what do I do when I pivot, right? How do I pivot? You know, I see things a certain way, and it's not actually like that. It's not actually panning out to be that way. And so pivoting sometimes is not, everybody doesn't always get to that space. It's like it leaves them in a stuck place. How do I get out of a stuck place and get into a place of pivot? When I think in a creative way, like what?
Well, you have to will yourself out of that. You know, you have to will yourself out of the stuck place. I think it's also just mindset. You have to see that thing in front. I remember I was in the vineyard in August and I did this yoga class on the beach. And now I was nervous because I was like, oh, I ain't got no turns, twists, shakes, and all the stuff they be doing in yoga. I ain't had none of that in me. And I just knew I was going to end up on the sand, just stuck. And I was going to be fine because I was going to pretend I was looking out in the water. But I made it through. And because there was this guy whose name Yogi Rev. And one of the things he was saying is, see that thing that you're warring with. And he used it in this perspective, and I'm going to use it from a creative perspective. See that thing that you want, right? And what he said was see into it. Okay. See into it. See what it is. Put it in front of you and see into it. See where your stuck point is. And then see yourself on the other side of it. And what I would say to that from a creative perspective is you have to have your vision here. Like that tunnel vision is like a real thing. Tunnel vision is a real thing. Have it in front of you, set it in front of you, write it down if you need to. I mean, put it in your face all day, every day. Eat it, dream it, think it, walk it, talk it, do whatever you need to do to become that thing that you want. And then see yourself on the other side of it, meaning see yourself attaining it. See the fruit that comes from that. See yourself winning, see yourself smiling, see yourself giving. And you can do that from what they say in Get Out, the sunken place. You can do that because I've been there, right? I've been in a place where I literally, and I'm being, this is a transparent moment, but I've been in a place where I couldn't even walk outside and appreciate the sun or the breeze. And it was shining and it felt good. And everybody else around me, it felt like they was like a carnival. Everybody had, ice cream and funnel cakes, and it's not real, but that's how I felt in my mind. Everybody was hanging out at the carnival. Everything was bright and bubbly and this and that. And I couldn't feel it. I couldn't enjoy it because I was stuck. And so what I had to do was say to myself, yo, Queen, what is it that you're trying to do? Is it this couch? Or is it your purpose? You said when you started this thing that you wanted to be here, that you wanted to go there, that you wanted to change the game, that you wanted to impact lives. So get your little stank butt up, shower first, and get creative and get yourself out. Take a walk. I don't care if you can't feel the sunshine. Go out there anyway. The sun sees you. God sees you. So take a walk. The more I walked, the more days I got up and walked, the more I took myself to that coffee shop that I didn't want to go to, the more I met people and felt like a zombie and I wasn't there, I started to wake up. I started to grow up. I started to come out of whatever that thing was that had me sitting stuck. Because in my mind, I didn't have creativity in me, but I had to purpose myself to think like the old queen would think so that she can come back, not the same, but better and ready to conquer. And then I'm like, dang, I wasted a whole 6-7 months. I ain't got no more time to waste. So now, if you didn't like me before for winning, you're really not going to like me now because my creativity about to be off the chain. So I think it's, if you're stuck, you got to just speak to it. Unstick yourself. That is the thing. Don't let people tell you don't need to call a bunch of people over. You don't need all the church mothers come and lay hands on you, praying on you and everything. I mean, they can pray and we're going to take them prayers. But what I'm saying is you don't need to call, but you pray for yourself. I think you played a song yesterday. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Sometimes you ain't going to have a party. I luckily have a really great support system. My sisters, my mom, dad, they was all on the phone with me like, girl, are you going to make it? And that was great and all, but that wasn't enough. I had to want to make it. I had to get creative. I had to pivot. I had to say, look, there is so much in me and it will not die on this couch. So we have to just get to a place where, we're not giving into that stuff. It's a moment and it's a test, really. It's whispering and it's passing by you to be like, "Ooh, I know you want to give up. I know you want to give up." And then you got to be like, you need to mind your business. I ain't trying to give up. This is how you do. You just block it. Mind your business. Go about your business. You're going to pass on by. Just pass on by. Because here, you won't be having me on this couch. I don't even like this couch. Okay? It's not even comfortable. And I'm ready to go. So you just have to do it. You just got to get up. You got to go. You got to move and move and move and move. Something I think you said yesterday. No, either today or yesterday or something on your live I was watching. You were saying if you need to move, then move. Like literally shift energy. If you need to go from the living room to the kitchen, go to the living room from the kitchen, because it's not about you going, it's not about the place you're going, it's about the energy that you're moving around so you can get that thing up off you. So you can get your zhuzh back, your creativity back. So you can be like, oh, I remember this stride. I remember when I was bopping, strolling down there. I like this right here. What was I doing over there? I don't even like that. What? I'm better than that. Girl, you better sit on the couch. I'm sitting on the chair today. That's how you do it.
Oh my gosh, you are incredible. And you know, I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing like some love coming in here, some confirmations, like good stuff. Even when you can't feel, Dee says, even when you can't feel the sun, when you can't feel the wind, step outside. Oh yes, when you can't feel it, step out. Sorry, I'm looking. Feel the wind. It's all right, because I'm gonna do it again, okay? And that's what's about to happen. Even when you can't feel the sun, when you can't feel the wind, step outside.
Girl, just feel it. Go get some sun and some wind. I don't know what the chat said, but
don't mess with me today. The sun sees you, but look, what she wrote was S-O-N. The sun sees you.
That's
the
right.
wind will still touch you.
That's real.
Come on.
That's real.
Listen to your own, the conscience that God has put inside. Like he is telling you, he is still there. And I was listening to the song that first just came on whenever we were getting started today. And it was, what was it, Joy? What was I listening to? I'm trying to remember the title of it because it really was like, he will never leave you. He will never, It's your life right now.
That thing came right out your brain.
He will never leave you. So like when the sun is not shining, when it feels like everything is black, it feels like it's dark, that just because it feels that way doesn't mean it is that way. He will never leave.
You got to fight through the noise. You got to fight through the noise and become that thing that you've always like dreamed of. Like one of the things since we're talking about creativity, one of the things that gives me joy about the way I create is I literally I write scripts, and I'm working on a movie right now, right? But I literally can't write it down until I watch it full out. The characters, I see their faces, I see the places, I see the dialogue, and then when and not do I only write it like if I get into a moment where there's supposed to be a scene where it's like intense and I'm crying on both sides because I'm this character, but I'm also that character, because what I try to do is embody like what is that emotion, right? That I want my audience to take away. If there's two sisters and they have a history of some drama or trauma in their family, and right now it just comes to a head, I want the people in the audience to know, like, if you have a sister somewhere, if you have somebody, like you felt that thing, like, oh, that reminded me of me and Melissa. We need to get it right. Or that reminds me of me and my sister. I mean, you know what I mean? So I love that. And I feel like that goes back to what I was saying, because I was reading something in the chat where I think Kristen was saying something that's true. You got to first envision that place where you want to be. And that's real about anything that you're doing. I watch every movie I write before I write it down. Ooh. Like I'm at the theater. It's me in a theater by myself. And it's a big screen. And it's just in my head. I get it. It might sound cuckoo to some people. But I'm literally at the theater in my head by myself, watching my movie, eating popcorn, and telling myself, ooh, it's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? And then trying to find a way to make it work, because I'm an indie producer. So listen, I try to figure it out. But at the end of the day, because I feel it like that, right? I know that when it manifests, it will be something to somebody. And notice I said somebody, not everybody. Because see, your art and your creativity ain't gonna hit the same way for everybody. And guess what? So what? That's okay. You are not for everybody.
That's right.
You are not for everybody. Everybody will not buy into what you do, and they don't have to. And it's not about, oh, well, forget them. It's more or less like find your tribe, find your people, find your audience. That's me with film. But what is the thing that you're doing? What are you creating? Lindsay is an artist. Lindsay has to find her tribe. Who are the people that want to buy her art and understand her art as a testimony, and not just because she wants to go in there and spend all this money on paint supplies and paint because it's expensive. She ain't doing it because she just wants to do it. There's a purpose behind it, right? And her creativity, that process, that flow, that thing that moves her from one thing to the next. It's not just painting, it's therapy, it's this, it's Janae, how she is a person who is a giver and a doer and a connector, a person who you call her and she gonna figure out a way to do it. Not only is she talking economics, but she talks life. She talks, how do we become better? How do we move past what the current situation is? How do we get Black people in the game? And not just as the subs and playing, whenever we up a bunch of points, now let's put all the Black folks in. No, how about we play together? She's taking people to task and letting them know because she has purpose, because she's being creative with what's in her. God put so much in us, and we do not get to, and I ain't savvy with all the scriptures and all stuff, but I know there's something in there that tells you that, your gift is without, what is it? Repentance, something, I don't know. Uh-huh. He know what he said. He know what he said. And the point is, you can't go back on that. Janae got a bunch of stuff in her. Robin, you got a bunch of stuff in you. Lindsay got a bunch of stuff. Dad got a bunch of stuff. Queen Mother coming tomorrow got a bunch of stuff. Everybody on this thing has something in them. Every speaker, every listener, there is something in you that you are meant to give. So find it, pull it out, get creative, and give it. Do not. I want you to live full and die empty. I'm going to say that again. Live full, die empty. Live a full and complete life where you learn, where you are not only the teacher, but become the student. Where you're a giver, where you're a doer, where you're a beer, where you're going, where you're laughing, you're having fun, you're having your family, you're having purpose, you're having this. And when you die, everything that was poured into you should have been poured out to somebody else. Die empty. Don't die with knowledge. Don't die with creativity. Don't die with art. Don't die with the things that were placed in you to give. That is not why you're here. The Creator created us to create.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, this right here, you have opened and unlocked the door for us to release. It is time to release. When you say live full and die empty, what I hear, and I don't know what you guys hear, but I see in the chat, a pour for a pour. Come on. Yes, Joy. A pour for a pour. Joy. Yes. Come on. The chat is coming out. Come on, chat. Come on, guys. A pour for a pour. Oh my gosh. Yeah. To me, that really ties into the scripture here and also the prayer for today, where, and I'll make the connection in a minute, or maybe you can make it yourself, for Jeremiah 10:12. But God made the earth by his power, right? He formed the world by his wisdom. So yesterday we were saying we need to get that wisdom, right? He formed it by his wisdom and stretched out the heavens by his understanding. So if he created us, I heard Queen say today that we were created by the Creator. We were created and we were made by him and by his power. Can you imagine? Like, I just want you all right now to imagine how the Creator has all power and we're created by him. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're getting wisdom from him, or have we settled and gotten wisdom from what everybody else says we should do and say and how we should do it? We are selling him short. We are selling the power that is absolutely within us when we have decided that the Creator is our creator, right? Not everybody has decided that, so that may not be for you, right? But guess what? But still, it's still true. It's still true. He has created us, and he has called us to be the kings and queens of royal priesthood and build. And he had, and listen to this, and stretched out the heavens by his understanding. I heard somebody say today that their word was stretched. Imagine if you were allowed to, if you were being stretched by him. My tribe, my community, they always are pushing me and stretching me. And I'm always like, why am I in a hot seat? Or why, no, you're being stretched. They tell me you're being stretched. And guess what? I'm open to the stretch, but guess who I'm open to the stretch by? But by his way, God's way. And let me tell you this, here's the safety part of that, because it's scary. Do you ever close your eyes, Queen? And you can't like you see things that are so big that and so unexplainable. Does anybody ever feel like that?
Scary.
It's like, and you literally lock up, freeze up. You start to get in your head and you're like, but if I do this, because sometimes you will get visions and you will get things inside of you that have never been done. And you're like, dang, people gonna talk about me. Dang, I don't really.
It's too big. It's not. But if your dreams are not big enough, then I mean, if you're not dreaming big in that way, if they're too big, if they scare you, then they're not. Then if they don't scare you, I should say, then they're not big enough.
That's right.
At the end of the day,
if they don't scare you,
mediocre. See, I had a song. I don't want no mediocre. It was a little extra, but what I got from the song was we wouldn't play it here on this here format. But what I loved about it is he was like, look, I don't want no mediocre. Don't give me no mediocre. I don't want nothing that's mediocre, because at the end of the day, I am bigger and beyond that. So if it ain't scaring you, y'all need to go back to sleep and dream again.
Come on.
Because it ain't.
Listen, come on. That when we talk about that excellence, right, Queen? I have been sharing this every day, and I'm going to share my screen in a second, just for us to close out. And when I'm sharing that with you guys, I want you to analyze. I want you to analyze the difference between excellence and perfection now. And we're hoping that you're walking in as an excellent educator as you walk into the next level, right? But you know what that thing is that's creative inside of you. You do know. You may not have unlocked it fully yet. I want to pause, and I'm going to put on a song, right? I'm even going to pause the YouTube just because of music, whatever. But I'm going to put on a song, and I want everybody, you're going to take 2 minutes. We're going to take 2 minutes to think about what you need to release that is creative inside of you. Something that was big that you said and you told yourself, dang, I can't share this with people because they'll think I'm crazy. You may not even want to write it in here right now unless you feel led to, but you can go ahead and put something in there. What might you need to, and you can help me out, Queen, with this next step takeaway. What might you need to release now so that the waters are flowing for you in 2022, tomorrow or tonight into tomorrow? What is that one creative thing that needs to be released in you? And it might sound crazy to others because people have put you, and I'm sorry, I got to do this. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Baby, I'm sorry, not sorry. Anyway, people have put you in a box for too long. You have been holding everybody else's ideas about you and for you for too long. And then if you are educators out there, you have been doing the same thing to some of our children. You've been putting them in a box. You've been casting them as you're this kind of kid, you're this, and you have not allowed them to release because you haven't released. The people who are following you, you have not been able to really give them everything that you have in the way that you know you've been called to, because you have been holding back for fear of being an outcast, different, not understood. In 2022, release. So I'm going to put this song on because once you release, you will win. Once you release, you will win. I'm seeing people in here. Everybody breathe. Take a deep breath. You will win. Release it. Put it in your journal. You will win when you release it. If you hold it back, you're going to stay stuck. I'm just going to be really honest with you. And guess what? When you go out as an educator, when you walk into the school system or you walk into wherever you're educating, you will have such a freedom of creativity in everything you do. And guess what? Here's this. Go ahead. I was going to add to that.
I was going to add to just say that not only release it, but commit to doing the work. Like, people don't want to move in the process. We want to go from, we want that microwave and not the oven. You know what I mean? And I get it. We're in that society that everything is popcorn, pop up, microwave. But I think it's really important that as you are thinking about your release and what that thing is, really commit yourself to the work. again, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. It's my thing. Don't be trying to steal it either, because this is my saying. I've been saying it for years. And it is, the win is in the work. You have to work if you want to win. You don't wake up and just win. And even if you do, it's going to be a short-lived win. The win is in the work. So as you think through around your release, what is the work that has to go along with getting it? What are the steps? What is the process? And when you going to get started? Because tomorrow we're going into a whole new year. Don't make promises. Don't write in your little journals, I'm going to do this and I'm going to lose 17 pounds. Lose them or no. Move or no. Do it or no. And if you're not going to do it, get out the way so somebody else can get it done.
Listen, you heard it. Now, as we close, this is your next action step. And then I'm going to even invite you for some support in that, because you can't do it alone. You probably could, but guess what? Everybody on this space could probably do even greater with a team, with a coach, with a mentor. Queen talked about mentorship today. And I'm looking in the chat and I already see somebody that put that in there. And I didn't even put the song on yet, but what they're going to do. I am releasing a new painting series that will move into the future. Oh, come on. I'm going to make mine right now. I am releasing my business global so that I can teach people how to educate with excellence with my academy. That will be happening in 2022. Oh God, I'm getting nervous because I'm releasing this thing.
Let's go.
It's been on my heart.
Let's go.
Global 2022.
Global.
Oh my gosh, Everybody Educate Academy, Excellence
Say
Academy.
it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
I'm releasing my global academy for excellent educating. That's what I'm about to do. Woo, that thing is heavy. Ooh.
And guess what? And if it's scary, and if it's scary, sis, do it scared. So what? Do it scared. Just don't not do it. The world needs what you have. You've been dropping jewels and nuggets forever and ever. Some people have refused to see you just because they don't want to. But who cares? It's time out for the people who don't understand you, who don't get you, who don't flow your way. That ain't your tribe. That ain't your audience. That ain't your people. They're not coming to watch your movie. Don't nobody care about them. Hey girl, I don't even know who that is, but hi, hey girl. Yes, yes, green. That is my color, honey. So at the end of the day, you got to make sure, and this is for you, Robin, because at the end of the day, you are everything you believe yourself to be. Everything and more. And it is up to you to free yourself to be able to do these things and walk in confidence and walk in power. Because at the end of the day, you were here for that. You survived a tragic accident as a child where people told you a whole bunch of what you won't do and what you can't do and what you'll never do. And you have done and you have did and you are continuing to do. So what I need you to understand is later, for you being any type of insecurity tries to come in, shake that off. Anything that makes you feel, any person that makes you feel anything, any vibe that ain't your vibe, walk away from it, move away from it, run away from it. Because at the end of the day, sis, you, and I said this to my other sister, and I'll say this to everybody on here, we are the biggest stars on our team. So you were the biggest star on your team. That is not cocky. That is not you saying, oh yeah, I'm better than everybody. No, it isn't. It's you believing enough in yourself to understand that you have everything that you need inside of you. And what you have is meant to give, because right now you're full, which is why you will not die. You will live and not die because you're full. And when you're empty, years and years and years and years and years from now, you will pass that on, and others will take what you have given them, and they'll be full, and then they'll become empty, and then they'll be full, and then they'll become empty, because generations will prosper and will understand that Everybody Educate today. How many people on this chat? There's 10 people today, but there's 10 million tomorrow. You understand? So it doesn't matter the numbers. I used to tell my music artists, I don't care if you get into a room and only one person shows up at your show. You sing as if there was 1 million. because you don't know who that one person can be, and you don't know who they're going to pass it on to. Everybody educate is the wave and is the future of education. And the people who don't know it now don't know it, and that's okay. But they're going to know. They're going to learn today.
They don't know.
So walk in your purpose and your power. Lindsay said it. You're standing on purpose. So now I want you to walk in it.
I received that. I received that. And everything attached to me wins.
Everything attached to me wins.
Everything attached to me wins. Yeah.
You will win. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop talking because you know me and you could do this all
day.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I want some other people on here winning. And the reason why I said that everything attached to me win, what even came to me for you, Queen, and I appreciate you so much, guys. Show her some love in the chat. Show her some love in the chat. Give her some hearts and things, because she has had a creative conversation about life and living with us.
Ooh, I like that.
She has had a creative conversation, and I want you to continue in your creative conversations. Thank you. Give her some love. Give her some love in the reactions. That creative conversation has shifted my mindset. What was locked inside of me. I mean, I'm thinking I'm releasing stuff. It just goes to show you that there's so much more. You can think you okay, I did this. I did my little challenge, and educator. There's so much more still there. I knew it. That's why I asked you guys, what else is there for you? In the chat, while we play this song, Everything Attached to Me Wins, I want you to feel that. I want you to feel that win, and I want you to step into that win today. And I want you to also understand that we have these vibe sessions all the time with family, without family. There are people on here that are family. There are people on here that are not family. But I literally am coaching. I'm coaching family. I'm coaching friends. I'm coaching educators. I'm coaching future teachers. That's all I do. And I do it every day. I love it. I will always love it, and I will always do it. And this experience right here that we're having, we have to stop. It's not enough, right? We need more. We need more. We need more. And so everything attached to me wins. I believe that. And I receive everything our speaker said today. I receive everything all speakers have said. And if you'd like to get connected with me, I am putting my Calendly link in the chat. And let me tell you a little bit about my Calendly link before I put the song on, because once I put the song on, y'all, we're about to go off, right? You want to go off in your own private space, because guess what? You will win once you release. What are you releasing? I seen a couple people said what they were going to release in there, but not everybody did. And even if you don't want to show us, put the date of when you're going to start your process. Come on, guys. Come on. It is time out for doubt. It is time. I'm gonna read all this stuff for perfection. It is time out for doubt. It's time out for fear. It's time out for frustration. It's time out for trying to be right. It's time out for trying to be proving. It's time out for trying to be judgmental. It's time out for trying to take. It is time out for controlling things. Let him control. Let God control, because he put the things inside of you that you need. It's time out for living in pressure instead of living in freedom. After we had this creative conversation with Queen today, you should be able to live in freedom. Right in the chat. I want more than, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one creative thing. Then don't nobody even know. I wasn't telling anybody about, and I'm going to start putting it in action and by January 2022, by February 2022. I will put this in action step by step, one at a time. You'll win. You'll win. I'm sure you'll win. Now listen to this song as I put my Calendly link and all that in there, because you can have more of these experiences with me and people on my team. You can have a call that will change your life and get you moving in action for real, and not just talking about it, being about it, and we'll make sure we see about it on our vibe session, on our experience that we will have on our discovery call. Okay, so start putting in the chat your takeaways and what you're going to release.